I'd like to start off today's video with a quote from the famous Karl Marx: "History repeats itself." Because today we have another exciting show to show everyone. It would appear that some people cannot learn from other people's mistakes and misfortunes. Today we have an example of another individual caught cheating at an online Bandai event. And before we go into the spicy clip here, I want you guys to, of course, leave a comment and tell me what you think about the online atmosphere and cheating. Because I think that's a very important discussion to have every time it comes up. Literally every time it comes up. Because all this nonsense just doesn't seem to be going away. And I have a few points to make on my own, but first let's watch and see what actually happened. I'm taking my head out of the equation here so you guys can see the full individual's board. This is a One Piece tournament. Not Digimon, I know, but it is a Bandai game, and it's the same stuff over and over again, so I figured we cover it, because why not? Here we have the individual who remain nameless on top here, the perpetrator of the felony, and down here we have Clyde. Clyde is the one who recorded this, so shout out to him for discovering. But yeah, these are not Digimon cards, just so everyone knows, these are indeed One Piece cards. So I'm going to attempt to play the video. There's no audio, so I'm going to give you the play-by-play here. And without further ado, we'll start the recording here. So it looks like Clyde did an attack to which the individual paid some Dawn in order to combo to prevent himself from taking damage. Now you see here, okay, I don't know if you guys saw that or not. But there's a lot of stuff going on here. So, okay, so that's done. On the bottom screen here, you see Jackson swinging again. And then if you go look at the top screen, it's very hard to see. Very hard to miss. Look at the top guy here. Oh, look at that. You actually saw the cards appear before your eyes. The new card. Where the old card, he kept his hand size the same. It's not like 20 cards in hand all of a sudden. But he did a 1-for-1 swap. And we'll just do the replay again. Clyde attacks, does a combo here to stop himself. If I have the wrong terminology, don't sue me, please. But here you see the chat keeping the hand size the same, of course. And for the second attack here, conveniently he has just enough cards, just enough power to survive. Isn't that lucky and convenient? Now, I'm not an expert in the One Piece. I don't know what's good, what's bad, what's up, what's down, what's left or what's right. But from what I can tell from general card game experience, is that this fellow here did something he wasn't supposed to do. And just like the previous guy, you know, we've seen this before, where someone will take their hand kind of off the camera, but just enough so you can see exactly what happened. And sure enough, this guy, again, did not try to add 20 cards to his hand. No, no, no. We've learned from the Dark Knight players of the past. But instead, he tried the old 1-for-1 swap. And unfortunately, his camera angle was in view of the whole thing. Now, in this particular round of online cheating discovery, there were a couple points risen by various other content creators on Twitter and Facebook and whatever. One point was just, oh yeah, all cheaters are scum, yep. And of course, yeah, of course. If you do some sleight of hand nonsense like that, yeah, you deserve to be flamed. I absolutely agree with that. The other point that I keep hearing multiple people repeat is that you should record all your matches on an online setting. And while that is a good idea, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, you cannot catch everything with an online recording. And I'm bringing this up just to make awareness. Sure, your camera angles sometimes in a good recording will allow you to see if someone, you know, doesn't have the right camera angle, so to speak, to be able to cheat properly. So if you do see someone trying to do something funny, you might be able to catch it and review it later on the recording. That's perfectly okay. However, sometimes with your certain camera angles, you cannot see when that type of activity is occurring. Yeah, if someone's hand disappears from the screen, so to speak, for a few seconds, maybe you can suspect something is sus, but that's not always the case. And some people, I'm sure, have it perfected to a craft where they can take their hand off, like, for a second, come back, and whoa, whoa, wow, suddenly they have what they need. You know what I mean? Something else you can't really see on an online recording, so to speak, is kind of like stacking your deck, so to speak. You know, when you're starting the game, right, you're shuffling your deck, whatever. Well, in online recording, you have no way of knowing whether some guy is, take a little peek here, maybe it's pointed down, but you have no way of knowing if the guy's or the girl's head is slouched to where they can see exactly what they're shuffling. So if they wanted this random high dressy here, they just all have to, let's just stick it right here. And when they ask me to cut in half, I'll know exactly where it is. You know what I mean? Now, that's something that can exist on webcams, something that you can't even see unless the guy is really doing it really badly through an online recording. And it's not going to be as obvious as I just did it. It might just be a simple little side tilt. Maybe it fluctuates every millisecond or so. You know what I mean? Or maybe the guy's head is only turned like that. You never know. So while I do encourage the practice of online recordings, if you do want to, make sure there's no shenanigans. Also, just make sure you learn because, I record most of my testing actually to, watch it back and make sure I learn. No reason not to do that with an online tournament as well. But if you do happen to catch something foul as a foot, you can definitely use that recording as evidence to bring to a judge to maybe something gets done about something. That was worded terribly. And I'm going to use this to transition now into my other point. You know how you can get rid of all of this taking cards from shelves or taking cards from the gods above you in the terms of the Dark Knight player? You can just have more in-person events. That sounds like a really good idea, Bandai. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Some of you are going to say, well, Mario, you can cheat in in-person events too. You can do sleight of hand in person, and if you're good at it, you won't be caught. And that's 100% true. If you are good, you will not get caught unless you slip up. Don't forget that at the end of the day, these tournaments are either, for card prizing, prize card prizing, sometimes expensive prize card prizing, or in the case of something like BSS, cash. You think there's people at the BSS? You think every single person at the BSS open event right now are playing honestly and in good faith? You think there's not even a single person that is trying to do something shenanigan? I don't think so. I would bet to believe that there's a bunch of people that are trying to, finagle their way into a victory. But this kind of stuff is a lot easier to catch in person than it is online. And online, it takes certain camera angles, so to speak, out of the equation where people just cannot cheat in particular ways. You have to be aggressively on the lookout in an in-person event, absolutely. You have to do that because you don't want to get cheated. But it's a lot harder to do it in person than it is online, which is why I hate online tournaments, which is why I really dislike that all the regionals, for the most part, are online for Digimon, or Ultimate Cups are online, and all this nonsense. It sucks. When I last brought this up, there were people in my comment section that said, I live in Alaska. I think that was one person. In-person events don't really work for me. That's fine. And then I also brought up a point where I heard that Bandai was preventing TOs from being Bandai big tournament TOs. And sure enough, one person in the comment section, followed by a few private messages from people who remain anonymous, did tell me, yeah, we applied, and Bandai just said, no thanks. It's very interesting that Bandai is just choosing to do this. I bring this up not to sound like a repetitive broken machine, but to just bring awareness to the fact that, people want more in-person tournaments. Why Bandai wouldn't have more is beyond me. And it does eliminate some of this nonsense that we keep seeing almost weekly now. I think that'll do it for today. This was not a major production like the last Dark Knight cheating scandal was. This was just a 24-second clip with no audio. Nothing there. No plot, no known characters, no humor, nothing like that. No climax, nothing. Just a quick 24-second clip. There's not much to analyze there. But we do make these videos to make you guys aware that this is still happening. And always stay on your toes, especially while Bandai seems to be moving in the event of more online events for at least Digimon. So to my Digimon players out there, always keep your third eye open because you never know what you're going to see. And that's all I got for today. See you later.